This is my third attempt at recording this, but I missed some things the other time, so I'm just going to sort of make this an overall shield girdling guide. That's sort of what they call it when you're kind of behind a big, great shield like this, sort of tanking the damage. Um, so to cover basically everything I need to cover, I'm going to start with the how the shields work themselves. Um, this is probably the best shield for that um, because it has 100. You can see over there where it says guarded damage negation. Um, that's how much of like each element type it is blocking when you take hits. Probably the most important factor on there, other than the physical damage negation, is the guard boost. Guard boost is sort of like poison in a way. It's sort of like how much, like how long you can get wailed on before your guard is broken. Um, if your guard is broken, obviously you're kind of screwed. You're open up to, um, attacks that can be. I mean, in this game, it could be one shot and you're dead. So you don't want your guard to break. Um, you can see this is about the highest one in the game, as far as I know. Has a 90 guard boost when fully upgraded. Upgrading your shield will upgrade the guard boost, and I believe it might also upgrade the damage negation on some of them sometimes. Not 100% sure, don't really remember. But that's about all you need to know. The attack power on the other side is literally like how much damage it does if you hit someone with the shield, which you can do if you're two-handed. That won't be important unless you're just really wanting to fight with a shield for fun. And we have new shields in the game that are made for that, where they block and defend at the same, or sorry, block and attack at the same time. Anyway, I'm going to go with this one for this. There is a downside to using this shield, by the way, which is that unlike the fingerprint shield, which was the toughest before, it you can see where it says under Great Shield and Strike and all that up at the very top. It says no skill on this one. That means that no Ash of War has been applied, and it will default to the special like Ash of War or whatever of your weapon when you hit the L2 or your like special heavy attack thing, whatever you want to call it. So with this shield, you can still use your weapons Ash of War by hitting that button, but with this one, it has a built-in Ash of War, and you can't change it. You can't remove it. So you will do that if you press that button, and you won't be able to use your weapon thing unless you two-hand your weapon. So, slight downside, but this is still probably the best shield in the game. So outside of that, you also have talismans that can affect it. You can see this boosts guarding ability, which I believe is just sort of boosting your whatever I called it before, the amount of hits that you can take before like they kind of break your guard, the guard boost or whatever. And then this one will this is from the DLC. I don't remember if the other one is. This will block more like non-physical damage. So they're both good, and I actually recommend if you're up against somebody who's super relentless, like the last boss of the DLC, something like the two-headed turtle talisman to increase stamina recovery will be really helpful. Because as you take hits, it's going to eat up your stamina. So I'll show you on this Black Knight over here. He's sort of a tough enemy, but not the worst. So you have two kind of ways that you can do this. So with a normal weapon, when you guard and you attack, it'll stop you from continuing to guard. You can kind of see I drop my shield whenever I attack. And for that moment, I'm vulnerable. If I use a spear, I can thrust while blocking. It didn't work just then because he staggered me. But typically, some enemies like that can actually do a guard counter on you. That's what that sound was that you just heard. But to do a guard counter on them, you want to sort of wait until they're like just finished with a combo, or if it's otherwise safe. See, like right then was not a good time for that. So this time we're going to wait for a combo. And a lot of the big flashy attacks like he just did will sort of leave them pausing for a second. That's sort of your opportunity. Yeah, point is for that part, you can keep your shield up and poke with a spear. If you use something like this with blood loss on it, it'll take huge chunks out of their health, but you'll be sort of defending the whole time. And even if the regular damage is not great, the blood loss effect will kind of, it's called a hemorrhage, but it will take enough out that you'll get through the boss quick enough. For something like this, see, when I attack, I'm not able to defend at the same time. But if we're doing guard counters, like I'll show you that right now, it won't really matter. You just have to make sure you're not in the middle of something where you're going to get hit. See, he stops after 2 hits for that combo, so I was able to do it then. And again, you're looking for that noise. If you do it too late, it won't make any noise. It'll just sort of be a regular attack like that. And you're using your heavy attack for the guard counters. I don't know if I said that. Sometimes the spears can go through multiple targets like that. So you can really get quite a bit of damage without getting hit at all. The other thing to look out for is your stamina. So I'll show you with the arrow guy. I have to get him to switch to a regular weapon by getting close. So as he attacks, you see it turning yellow there, and it's regenerating slowly. My stamina up there at the top left. Now, if I drop my shield, it gets a lot faster. So for bosses that attack relentlessly, you can sort of like strategically drop your shield when there's a moment of safety and regain all your stamina so that you can kind of go back to using your shield without having to worry about having your guard broken. I'm not sure if this guy is actually fast enough to break my guard, but I will switch to a weaker shield to show you how that works. Let's go with something with a really low guard boost. See if he can break our guard. There we go. That's what it looks like when your guard is broken, and for obvious reasons, you don't want that. Yeah, you can do these. You can do these guard counters, and you can do the sort of shield turtling type of thing on most things. Some people kind of frown on it, but they just honestly don't have a good point, really. I say engage with the game however you want. They put all the tools there, might as well use them. And if a tool's really good, you're kind of a goober for not using it. But, we also have stuff like this if you want to be fancy. really want to show off a little. What I would recommend is learning both to parry and dodge, but also the shield turtle, because they're all valid techniques and they all have a place. And for some bosses, like the final boss of the DLC, you're really gonna need to pull out every tool that you have. I don't know, I really think it's unwise, all the sort of arguing in the community about like, should you use summons? Should you use shields? Should you roll attacks? Should you just uh, are you too cool to roll? you know, it's a bit goofy. I think parrying is probably the most fun thing to do with the shield, uh, but it's really high risk for sort of the marginal reward. The real reward is sort of knowing that you can do it and feeling cool about it. Like it's. But ultimately, you're trying to win. You're trying to not be dead. So as cool as it is, know when to use it and know when not to.